Let's go!
Virtua Fighter Ultimate 2.0 Retrospective. This is definitely weird because Virtua Fighter 5 getting an update after so many years, like nearly 15 years of just sitting around, is kind of nuts for developers to come back and be like, so we're going to change the gameplay now. We're going to give Eileen this stupid foot tap thing that is mad annoying, so we have to patch it. And then it happened, right? Oh, let's patch the game and give characters some new stuff. And all of a sudden, something messed up. And yeah, they had to fix some dumb Eileen thing that she had. Some stupid wiggle stick combo.
自分が初めてやった時にその一番感動したのがやっぱりその人の動きがリアルに再現されてるっていうのが自分の中でだいぶ感動したポイントだったんですよね。ですのでそういったところがどんどん突き詰められていっているのが
The pursuit of realism that defines Virtua Fighter. Pursuit of
プレイヤー
realism.
としてはバーチャファイター1からずっとプレイしていまして、一言で言うのは難しいですけど、駆け引き。
Damn, look at that high resolution screenshot. Whoa, a VF1.
楽しい格闘ゲームかなと思っています。
すごくスピーディーだなと思ってて、接近戦ですごい素早い駆け引きというか展開の速い駆け引きがずっと行われるっていうのが他のゲームではない面白さ。
You know what I love? Virtual Fighter, even nowadays when devs are sort of like having a bit of an introspection and looking back at what VF5 was, its gameplay loop, the triangle, like all that kind of stuff, to have developers realize the game getting faster is good. You know, the decision making being quick and rampant constantly is actually a good thing. It engages the player really hard, and for them not to be afraid of that. It's a series that it's like, okay, so maybe we can match some of the other efforts of other fighting games. This is once again me talking shit about fighting games that tried to slow things down, much less simplify things, all to cater to new players because it was the gameplay specifically that was making people not want to invest. It wasn't. And it's good that Virtua Fighter, even though it was on hiatus for so long, the devs realized what made it fun and engaging, what makes it good, and what they want to sort of stay with, possibly for the future of the series.
というかずっと技の応酬をずっと続けてられるみたいなところが他にないところかなと思ってて、そこが僕はすごく好きですね。
I got you, video.
バーチャファイターっていうと常に画期的な新機能というか何かしらの革新的なものがあった。
No DOA slander. Hey, no, I won't give DOA slander. The marketing of DOA is what sort of tainted its overall perception over the years. But no, by the time DOA was a thing, like its hold system, it's very much like RPS engagement with the hold system, is what Virtua Fighter would eventually adopt when we got to the later like VF4 Evo and like VF4 era to VF5 era, right? The gameplay of Virtua Fighter 5 is very close to what like a DOA 5 was, even especially, you know? They're not that further off in the same space. They hold each other's hand, similar to almost how like a Street Fighter 6 and a Fatal Fury, those games feel like they kind of hold each other's hand in terms of mechanics. That's what DOA and VF was. Team behind VF worked on, well, go back. The team behind VF worked on adjusting the game's balance 13 years after its initial release. Think that demand for Virtua Fighter exists outside of Japan? Yeah, it does, man. As much as people don't want to admit it, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, when it released on PlayStation, had a shit ton of downloads and a shit ton of people that bought costumes. People were interested. There was an interest, and that was not just in Japan. And it's pretty clear. God damn, I love this song.
やっぱりバーチャファイター自体がすごく大きな看板タイトルということもあって、とにかく
I'll be talking through this. Funny enough, is actually a test that worked. Isn't that weird? Remember the Capcom test, chat? Other devs have done this with some games where they like, okay, we'll just release our old thing again and like give it a little bit of spruce, buff it out a little bit, and hey, here's that old thing, but it's back. And that acts as effectively a test. Hey, do people give a shit? We don't want to fully commit. We're not here to make a new game, but can we make some old thing, re-release it, give it a new coat of paint, and have it be somewhat successful? In Virtua Fighter 5, it worked. No shit, it worked on VF5. But Capcom has tried that several times with some of their fighting game franchises over the years, especially Darkstalkers, and it's never amounted to something that really builds an audience enough. And I think that's because you can't really add a coat of paint to Darkstalkers that makes sense. It's always going to be an old, beautiful looking animated 2D game. It is. At least with VF, you already had a game that visually looked really good in terms of animation, that had like amazing looking attack animations across the board. Throw animations in Virtua Fighter are unrivaled, dude. They're nuts. So once you buff out the obvious visual issues that the game has and give them some recent, more up-to-date character models, oh, turns out the visual style of Virtua Fighter can actually still look really good in 2021, which is exactly what Ultimate Showdown was. So it's not the exact same, but it is an example of let's just take old thing and make it a little bit better to see if people give a shit. It worked. I think it worked way more than they were ready for it to.
すごく新しいものというか、すごくセンセーショナルなものを作ろうという意識がずっとあって、で、まあ細かいこととかってあんまり。
And now with like a little bit of hindsight, and especially that Tekken 8 exists, but in no other 3D fighting games for the most part, we kind of realize that there is a huge gap in the fighting game space right now. And Virtua Fighter was also aware of it. The Sega devs were aware of it. And that's realism. Or games that are somewhat grounded in realism, because Virtua Fighter is not realistic, but a game that is at least rooted in an element of like pure martial arts. We just want wrestling guy versus judo man. You know, how would their martial arts collide? Who has the better martial art? That doesn't exist anymore, dude. That is not what Tekken has been about since the fucking 90s. So to be real, it's like, yeah, Street Fighter's never been about that. No fighting game is really about doing that. Comparatively speaking, a large budgeted, big developer fighting game. You know, we see it all the time in indie games for sure. But to get something from like Sega, where it's just like, hey, we're just gonna make this all about as rooted, grounded realism as possible. No characters are gonna be throwing fireballs. There ain't gonna be no goddamn fireballs or guns. You know, I'm gonna eat a goddamn shoe. I'm gonna say it right now, bro. If a character walks into the VF roster and pulls out a fucking sword and a gun or some shit, I'm gonna eat a shoe. I'm gonna take an old stinky shoe and I'm gonna eat it, as I don't think that's what the spirit of VF really is going to be. Or a hedgehog. As much as we would all probably really appreciate Virtua Fighter being Fighters Megamix 2, like a hedgehog rolls out and he's like, hey, 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 and he eats chili dog and shit, and then he beats the shit out of Lion. I don't think it's gonna happen, man. I think that's a Fighters Megamix thing. I don't think it's a VF thing. I think it's very much outside of what they're pitching here.
でもしょうがないかなみたいな意識があったんですけど、だいぶ間が空いてしまって、それで新しいもの出せてなかったんですけど、3年前ですかね。
Yet upon releasing VF Ultimate Showdown 3 years ago,
そしたらやっぱり
chat, in a few months, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is 4 years old. Of all the things that are like, hey, you know, can you believe this much time, that much time, all that shit? Can you believe it? That one hurts. I don't know why. That's not true. It's true. In July, in a few months from now, not that far away, maybe 6 months, in July, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is 4 years old. And it feels like that shit's still new to me. What the hell, dude? It feels like that shit's still new to me.
まだ遊んでくれてる人がたくさんいたというのと、やっぱそこで影響を受けて、できることをどんどんやっていこうというふうに、今回のバランスアップデートみたいなのにたどり着いたという感じですね。
I want the old Sega heads. I want them all in here, dude. I want everybody working in this game to be over the age of 50. Absolutely nobody that is 20 years or younger, hell no. Everybody working on VF6 needs to be over the age of 50. 100%.
遅いとはいえ、まあ、今回のバージョンアップでいろいろとちょっと調整とか入れて、今までこの技があったのになんか今回バーチャファイターファイナルショーダウンだとなくなってるみたいなのが復活してきて、そういったところでもその新鮮さ。
Dude, just the fact that like Final Showdown devs are in here, that's so sick that they're still around.
復活したんだみたいなのが気持ちを盛り上げてくれるみたいな要素になってくれてると、こ チェア側としても開発側としてもすごくいいかなと思っております。
I still like this old render of Akira. I won't lie. I still think that this look for Akira is a little bit, I think I like the striking ass face of him here a bit more than VF5 in the new one. Hold on a second. VF5 Old Showdown Akira. Yeah, they give him an almost somewhat more realistic ass looking face. Just gonna say it. I don't love this one. They soften him up a bit. He's got a very like angular ass looking face here that I like a lot more. And he definitely went through like the RGG, you know, the Ryu Gotoku. He kind of looks like he went through that pizzazz. He's more chiseled looking here. You know, I'm gonna be real. I think the lips, the nose, everything looks better. The hair, headband. Yeah, I like this one more, dude. Agreed? Okay, it's not just me.
やっぱり
It's almost like the hardware limitations made him look cooler.
みんなが納得できる形にそもそもするのが難しいゲームのジャンルだと思いますので、世の中のこうプレイされた結果を踏まえての調整とかずっと続けていけるようなゲームになるのが望ましいと思いますね。
内容に関してはお客さんからはもっとこうしてくれれば
I really wonder if they're going to bring back the costumes that were in Final Showdown Arcade, right? Have they talked about that yet? There's like win animations and costumes that never made it into the console versions, dude, that were locked to the arcade version of Final Showdown. Like a lot of customization. If that happens, that'd be cool. Because I haven't seen some of that shit since literally watching arcade footage from like 10 plus years ago of Final Showdown in arcades.
としてはこう見せたいからとかこのシリーズはこうだからっていうのをすごく意識してやらないできたんですけど、そこも少しやってみたいって思われてるところに関しては、じゃあどうやったらそれが実現できるかっていうところに一回フラットな状態に考えを戻してからもう一回作ろうという形でやっちゃダメと思ってたことを結構やってる。
Some foresight happening here. I think Virtua Fighter 5, this update, the 2.0 update, trying to simplify character weight problems that the game kind of has. I think that shit is going away, dude. I think in the next Virtua Fighter, I think that is actually going away. I don't think there's going to be heavy classes. There might be some stuff related to damage and health values. Comboing characters and their reactions to combos, depending on their weight class, I think will be a thing of the past. Like, no joke. And I don't think that's exactly a bad thing.
感じですね、今回は。
技の調整を入れるっていうところはテストプレイ重ねてるうちにユーザーの方にもだいぶ同じゲームを十何年やってもらっちゃったっていうところはあるので、そこを新たに楽しめるようにする調整はできたんじゃないかなっていうところは結構自信あるなっていう感じですね。
ゲームの核となる部分っていうのはゲームバランスとか技の性能ですとかゲームの中身の部分だと思うんですよね。なるべく変えるようにはしているつもりなんですが、ちょっとでも変わることによって、
God, it's so sick looking. Kira is such a sick fucking character, man. This guy is so cool. I can't help but want to play Akira. I can make my life so much easier and just play Jean, but my dude, landing shit with Akira just gives you actual neuron activation. I can't help it.
ちょっとでも変わることによって、なんか動き出したっていう、これはもう終わらせちゃうつもりではなかったところが見せられればいいのかなというふうには思ってますね。
充電期間を多く置いたもので、そこで大復活を遂げられるように、そしてまたトップランナーに戻れるようにっていうものが目標としてあると思っています。なのでこのタイトルは常に 3D 格闘といえばバーチャファイターみたいなところを必ずポジションとして。
Damn, Harada, so happy. Can you imagine how happy Harada is right now, chat? Can you imagine? There's a reason. It isn't because Harada wants Virtua Fighter to be better or worse than Tekken. The reason is if Sega shows up with a 3D fighting game that actually gets a shitload of attention and brings in a lot of people, that will, no kidding, convince higher ups above Harada at Bandai Namco that we need to invest into 3D fighting games. That, hey, these other guys can do it. How do we compete with them? That is, no kidding, the existence of Tekken is because of that. And much less what happened to Tekken in follow-ups and sequels were no shit responses to what Sega was doing with Virtua Fighter. Even the Soul Calibur series is the same shit. We want to do something completely different than what Virtua Fighter is doing in the same space. To be real, Sega did the same shit. They were doing Last Bronx and all those kind of games and Fighting Vipers and doing some weird spin-offs in 3D games. Soul Calibur took off. They tried, Bandai Namco landed, right? That's the reason he wants this to exist, because Harada has likely had to fight his ass off for Tekken to get any kind of budget over the past like long while. And it was probably a big ordeal for Tekken 8 because Tekken 8's a big expensive game. That in the future, like, hey, like this can be successful. There's proof. Sega's doing it. Look what they're doing. Look how good it is. Look what, this is what we can improve upon. This is how we can improve upon it, right? I think it would be absolutely friggin' insane if Virtua Fighter coming back is one of the reasons that Soul Calibur can even return. That could legit happen.
今も次のものみたいなところとかは頑張って模索しているところであるので、まあそういったところにうまく反映しておられるといいのかな。
Bro, imagine Go. What the hell is that shit gonna be like? That could be so sick, dude. How do we improve like judo as a martial art? There's some really cool characters in VF, much less even like Wolf Hawkfield and shit. How do you modernize friggin' Jeffrey McWild? Like, what the hell?
のかなって思ってるのと、まあ、そういったところに対してはプログラマーとかデザイナーとかそういった垣根を越えてどんどんこうやった方がいいんじゃないかみたいな風に意見を言い合うみたいな形に。
And again, yeah, some people would be like, oh, he's just gonna be Japanese Dragunov, but no, Dragunov was an answer to Go. Like that shit happened in Virtua Fighter first. Granted, I don't think Lily, when she showed up in Tekken 5, like DR, was an answer to anything in VF specifically. But yo, like they have like a very similar style, right? Though you can see in VF like which characters are adjacent to Tekken, and then Virtua Fighter did it to Tekken a bit later because Jin is just Kazama style. Like straight up, I get it, he's like traditional karate, but Jin Kujo is no kidding the Jin Kazama of the game, which is why he gets the Jin Kazama costume, because he just moves like Jin, has all these Jin moves. He ain't got electrics though, that's for sure.
やっぱり休眠していた時期も長いので、これからどんどんこう触ってもらって広げていきたいっていうか復活していきたいなっていう気持ちはあります。
今回またこうやって動き出すことができたんで、なるべく長く続いてほしいなっていうのは純粋に思います。
Momentum could go for a long time. Man, Sega is in their fucking redemption arc right now, bro. Like what Sega is going through right now, I never thought I'd live through this shit. I can't believe what Sega is going through right now and what Capcom is going through right now at like the same time is so crazy to me. It's so nuts that we like survived. Like we made it through all of that absolute hellscape that was the 2010s to eventually get here with this shit, dude. Where we're like, hey, let's go back to our fucking roots and make some fucking video games, man. Let's remember all that shit that people love. Why aren't we doing that? Yeah, SNK literally going through the exact same shit too. Fatal Fury is back. What the hell? I thought they'd be making KOF games forever. It was going to be KOF and Sam Show. The only games that are like proven guaranteed successes. No. We want to make like a modern day gorgeous ass looking 3D but 2D looking game. Like what? You kidding me? And they're doing it? Yeah, Sega was Sonic and Hatsune Miku all day long, and obviously Yakuza games, you know?
ではバランスアップデートの担当になりましたけど、そうじゃなかったとしても見届けたいとかシリーズの未来が見たいなっていうふうには思ってます。
That was great. That just got me to reminisce, you know? That's all that really did. It got me to reminisce. It's just so cool that all those people are still there. It's just Sega Rally gonna come back? Where's Burning Rangers? Daytona USA 99. Sega, what are you doing? How are you not doing it? When is it? Daytona USA 99. Please, dear God, just take a simple concept and execute